Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now celebrating 17 years of broadcasting success, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, both for our radio audience and those tuning in online. We're glad you all could be with us as well. Michael DeVorzon is making his first appearance on our program today to talk to us not only about the amazing journey he's been able to have as an actor, bringing to life different characters for television and film, but also what it's been like for him to see the response from you, the audience. This has been a very big year for Michael, and we'll talk about that. You guys probably know the name from Fast and Furious Death Race, but also he's gearing up for another film on Lifetime called Her Deadly Groom, and it's coming out on July the 26th. We'll talk to Michael about the year that's been 2020 for him outside of the pandemic and what it's been like for him to continue to create and to share, as well as let you guys know how to stay connected with him too. Michael, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Cyrus. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, the pleasure is definitely all mine. A lot for us to cover, again, as I mentioned, with Her Deadly Groom coming out this week, Michael, but this has been a very busy year for you, at least when it comes to promotion of projects, right? Because, as I mentioned, you have Fast and Furious, Death Race, got a really good response from that, and now, of course, this film, Her Deadly Groom. What has this experience been like for you, Michael, to be able to slip into the skin of these different characters and to bring these stories to life?
Yeah, I mean, first I feel like, I was lucky to get these two films in before the pandemic hit, and it just happened that way. So, but yeah, they were both of those characters were very challenging and wonderful to play, in Fast and Furious Death Race. He's an ex-street racer who comes out of retirement to kind of save the day and help his brother who's gotten in debt with a criminal, so he's a good guy. I mean, he's a watch out, don't get in his way guy, but he's a good guy. He's trying to save the day, so he's kind of the hero of the film in an action film. And it was also great to play that role because there were some very pivotal moments in the movie where the character, even though it's full of action and stuff like that, where he got to expose his inner world, some of the pain from his past, and so I was particularly happy to be able to execute that. And then switching over to Groom, yeah, I mean, Groom is Her Deadly Groom. That character, he's a real devil in disguise. And it was a great role to take on because of the duality of being a romantic leading man who appears to be a good guy, but in reality, he is a psychopath, and he's a con man, and he's a very dangerous guy. So, I had to balance between the two sides of the character of, trying to get what he wants by seducing the female lead and making her believe that he's a good guy, and then when it was time for you to see this other side, this dark, menacing side of the character, then I had to sink my fangs into that as well.
Right. And I think, that is, of course, fun for us as the viewer. Is that also what kind of keeps it fun for you as the actor, Michael, to be able to do different things, to try different things, and to challenge yourself with different roles?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love comedy, and I haven't had a chance to do much comedy, and obviously neither Fast, Furious Death Race or Her Deadly Groom is comedy. However, those roles, they're in my wheelhouse. They're in my wheelhouse. But you always want to go after the character, and like, wear life like a loose garment, not try to press too hard, on when he's going to be a bad guy,
Right.
And so, it was definitely, they were two wonderful roles to take on. I was very grateful to be in both of those movies.
Yeah. And what a great roster of projects you've been able to work on, even outside of these two coming out this year, Michael. And as I said, people have gotten to know you for roles for television as well as for film. Talk to us about the acting journey for you. I mean, what was it about acting do you feel like Michael spoke to you that made you say this is something you wanted to do?
Well, it started when I was a kid, and this is where we're going to go back to this comedy thing. Is as a kid, I was completely obsessed with the old Pink Panther movies starring Peter Sellers. I watched the movies over and over again. I would do impressions of Inspector Clouseau. My other favorite movie growing up was the Smokey and the Bandit series, and especially loved Jackie Gleason in that. So that really, but watching Peter Sellers work in those Pink Panther movies, that's what made me want to be an actor. And I started doing plays as a kid, as a very young kid. I really didn't know anything about acting and just kind of got pushed out on the stage, and people thought I was pretty good. And so I kind of guess I developed a thing early on as a kid. I was like, God, someday I would love to be an actor. Love to do what I saw Peter do on screen. And then in my mid-20s, I got my first job in Hollywood. It was in production. It was not in front of the camera, but it was a great gig. I was worked in production for the TV show Melrose Place for over 3 seasons. And I learned a lot about, production and the behind the scenes. And all along I had started studying acting, and they gave me a shot, to be on the show. It was it actually took 2 times to actually get something that made the final cut. But the first crack I got at it was one of those scenes that you just don't know if it's going to make it in there. So that started the journey, and then I started doing a number of TV shows like Beverly Hills 90210 and Charmed, and I did the soap Passions, and then one of my first big breaks was the movie Submerged. It was an NBC Movie of the Week. Submerged, directed by James Keach. Had a lot of wonderful actors in it, and we filmed in Italy, and we filmed in Italy and Malta for a month, 2 weeks in Rome at Cinecittà Studios, and then on the island of Malta, and that was an incredible experience. I had not had an experience like that, and I worked with some incredible actors. Shea Whigham and Emily Proctor, and of course I'm forgetting the star of the movie, Sam Neill. But the irony is when I got that gig, I thought I have finally arrived, and I just thought, here I go. The doors are just going to be flying open. The phones are going to be ringing off the hook, and it didn't quite work that way. Yeah. It was a featured TV movie of the week on NBC. But like anything, you got to keep going. You got to build your credits.
Right.
So after that, I started doing more roles in TV, and then I started working in commercials and I really feel like every role I've had the chance to do has been a stepping stone to where I'm at today. Obviously, these 2 last films, are lead roles in feature films, and so this has really been a great time.
Yeah. I'm going to talk to you more about that, Michael, because I think that really shows the reward for doing the work. I want to say for those who are just tuning in, is on the radio side or online. You're listening to Conversations Live. Today we're speaking about, an amazing career that Michael's been able to have, but also work that you guys are now able to see. I mentioned the film Fast and Furious Death Race that's out now, but also coming up this week on Lifetime is another great film that Michael is in called Her Deadly Groom. We're going to remind you of that. Of course, it's coming out in just a few days, depending on how you guys listen to us on July the 26th. You mentioned, of course, being the lead, Michael, and that is, I think, a testament to your being able to stay consistent and do the work. Do you feel as though the work you've done, you've ran through some of your resume there with television and film, kind of has led to where you are now, where you were able to, pay your dues, do the work, and now here you are as the lead of these great projects?
Yeah, I would like to think that I've always had the capability of being the type of actor or that my casting would point to being a leading man in a film. However, it's not easy to get those gigs. But I can tell you, people have asked me the question, like, how did you feel being the lead? And I didn't really think of it that way. It never once occurred to me, I'm the lead of this movie. It was just, I completely threw myself into the role, and we had, on both of those films, I had so much work to do that I just immersed myself in the character and was constantly working on scenes. And in between scenes, I was, who's the actor I'm working with next? I would go find them. Let's sit down. Let's talk about this. Let's keep working on it. So I didn't really, it wasn't until after I finished, first I did Her Deadly Groom, then I did Fast and Furious Death Race. But after Fast and Furious Death Race, a friend of mine who's been in the business a long time, a well-known actor and just directed his first movie, but he started talking to me about, being a lead in the movie is not something that everybody can do. And I kind of was like, it's not? I had no concept, which may have been good for me during the filming. I was just trying to honor the story and the arc of my character and try, to fulfill that duty. But yeah, I'm incredibly grateful. I do feel like there's an element of luck in this business, and I've stayed in there. I've been through lots of ups and downs with my career, and I've always looked at every break I've gotten as a real gift. And I also did the ZipRecruiter commercial, which was a huge spot, which played every day on every major news station, every sporting event. And that gave me a lot of exposure. In fact, it probably gave me more exposure than anything else I've ever done. And it was a spokesman piece. So yeah, I'm anytime they call my number, I'm always incredibly grateful and honored to be a part of the project.
And Michael, the other thing I noticed when I was prepping for this segment with you is you've been able to keep us kind of posted on what's happening with you, including with the new film, Her Deadly Groom, through Instagram. For those who are not following Michael there, you guys can find him at Michael DBZ. We'll remind you of that a little bit later in our program. But I noticed, too, a few of the posts caught my eye when I was prepping for the segment, Michael, and they were more inspiring posts. And so I want to talk to you about that because I'm a big person. One of my things is every day as I post a motivational message. I want to talk to you about how important that's been for you to kind of stay motivated, to stay inspired, especially in a journey that can be as unpredictable as the entertainment industry is.
Yeah, absolutely, Cyrus. I think I can speak for myself. I need to constantly feed my mind with inspiring things. As a friend of mine used to say, something that's going to be a balm for my soul. So yeah, I've been on a spiritual journey for about 18 years, and yes, every day is filled with reading different books that are going to inspire me. and give me a change of perspective, because I think a lot is our perspective, and in the entertainment business, anything in the arts, can be very challenging. It can be full of rejection. The rejection never feels good. I've tried to practice not taking things personally, getting up and staying the course. But yeah, I'm a big guy. I'm a big guy on quotes, on inspirational quotes and motivational quotes. And I think we need constant reminders. I think we need constant reminders. In fact, I have kind of a ritual in the morning, which includes meditation and writing and doing some reading, and something that kind of sets the compass for the day. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, it definitely does. So, but I do have this question. Yeah. So, Michael, with that being said, do you feel as though, and some actors I've interviewed on this program have not embraced this, but I'm curious, with that being said, about, being able to embrace, your inspiring spiritual side, has that been easy for you to embrace the idea that you also are an example to others, especially in your industry, as to what's possible, how you can be able to have a career and not lose yourself in the process? Yeah,
well, a good portion of my life is about helping other people. It's been written about and studied that being of service to other people is one of the keys to happiness. So that's just become part of my life. It may not always be with people in the arts, but that's something that I do. That's something that I do on the daily, on the weekly, is try to be of service to people. And so, yeah, I think what I can speak to about that is that my journey of life and my journey in the entertainment business has not been, just a smooth road. It's been a bumpy road. There have been great challenges that I've had to overcome, and I think, if there's a way that my story can inspire people to keep going and overcome obstacles and challenges and keep going and never give up, then I feel like my story speaks to that.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a great reminder for all of us, Michael, when it comes to what's possible. And I think as people are listening to a conversation like this, hopefully they'll realize what they can be able to do as well. Michael, I'm excited about all the great things that are going on with you, of course, with the new film that everyone's going to be looking forward to on Lifetime, Her Deadly Groom, coming out again on July the 26th on Lifetime. We ask our audience to please check your local listing for our audience in Mississippi. That's going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern on July the 26th. But for our audience joining us online, definitely check your local listing. Michael, I mentioned Instagram earlier. Is that the best place for our audience to stay connected with you?
Yeah, I am on Instagram and Twitter, and the handle is Michael DVZ. I'm also on Facebook as well under my full name, Michael DeVorzon.
All right, so make sure you guys are definitely staying connected with Michael. Again, everyone, Michael DeVorzon has been our guest. Great conversation with you, Michael. Really enjoyed this. Looking forward to seeing what's coming up next for you. And it goes without saying, you're welcome back here anytime. Looking forward to speaking with you again.
Well, thanks for having me on the show, Cyrus. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, the pleasure's definitely all mine. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live today. Let's make it a great one.